Right, so 11 cars, I would say that car 7, Brian Hayden, and 75, Snow Merritt, are scratching. Right, well, we'll see how they get on as they go around the pit corner. A bit of a squeeze there, and they're looking at this sliding out to the fence. They'll probably lean on one another enough to keep them on the fence. Paul Sheen in 16 leads them around. Look at Gardner up there in 17. He probably would like these conditions. Actually 97, they're out a little bit wide into the fence. Doesn't worry Greg, if he can get the pedal down he'll give it to her up the straightaway, but it's Paul Sheen in the 16 car from Gardner in 97. Then we've got Miller in 81, Peter Jacobson there in the 76 car. In the 5 car, Gardner's got some problems there. Wilson's looking for the run around the outside of him, but he lines it up and takes it into her down the straightaway. So Paul Sheen doing it well out in front. Of course, the thing is, once you get it out there, is to hold it steady and keep the lead. But Paul Sheen getting around the track now from Tony Miller in the 81 car. Gardner all over the place. Wilson up there in 5. Jacobson in the 76 car. Then we've got the 9 car of David Seville. Cately there in 62 from 12. And that's Billy Reek. 78 is Cochrane. Then we're back to Chris Durham, Colin Durham, and David Golightly in the 25 car. Looks like we've got a new race leader, and we've got a car around. It's Gavin Golightly, Gavin Cately. And we've got Tony Miller, a new race leader from Anthony Wilson, and Paul Sheen from Jacobson up there in 4th place. Gardner still there in 5th. And the 9 car of David Seville. Well, Tony Miller doing it pretty well, but Tony Wilson moving up on his outside. As I said, he's track a little bit greasy at the moment, but that'll soon settle down and we'll have some good racing. But it's Tony Miller from Alexander in the 81 car. Paul Sheen now out after him from Wilson, heading up there in 2nd position. Jacobson right up there on Paul Sheen. Gardner still in there in the 97 car. Then we've got Seville from the 12 car of Billy Reek, and 78 is Cochrane. It's still Tony Miller, the lead car, and these boys are starting to get a little bit of pace around them now. So are they looking to lap the lead car and then close them down a little bit? But there's Wilson now moving up, looking for the run on Miller on the back straight away, but Miller's still sticking down there on the pole line. And we've got 1 lap to go. We're going to have a pretty good finish here if Sheen can get out from behind the lap car. It's car 81, that of Anthony Tony Miller. Wilson still up there. Sheen. Jacobson in 76, not making up much ground. Gets a little bit sideways. Going to get her around there in 5th place. Seville there in 9. Here's the finish coming up now, and over the line we've got the 81 car from 5 and 16. Well, mine is a little bit greasy there for the first heat, but they should settle down pretty well, and we'll have the officials for you and the time in a few seconds.
Just like to remind all of you to keep an eye on the pit boys tonight, because obviously some of the drivers have missed out on their first race not knowing what was going on.
Right, the official placings for that race was in 1st place, number 81, Tony Miller. In 2nd place, number 5, Anthony Wilson. And in 3rd place, number 16, Paul Sheen. The fastest lap time for that race was 24.87 seconds, and the official race time was 3 minutes 31.03 seconds. Right. Rooftop 61, Cornwall. 64 is Holt. Cornwall. Right, and we've got number 1 is the car to watch. That's Tanya Peacock. Let's have a look and see where she is. I think she's in second. So there's the young lady from New South Wales. She's come from rear of the field. Next in underneath there is the VL Commodore and takes the lead from Cornwall down the back straight away from 34, the car of Bob Lilly. And we've got a couple of cars getting straightened up over there. So watch this New South Wales one camp go round there. It's Tanya Peacock in the VL Commodore, the field and spread team, and she's doing it nicely out in front. Then we go back to car number 61, the car of Cornwall, from 71, that's running the rooftop number of 19 is Davey Rickett in the B6 Capri. So they're pretty closely bunched, but Tanya Peacock doing it out in front, doing it quite well. Not much between the rest of the field. There's Davey Rickett in the 19 car going around there. Up there also in that lot. And we've got a bunch in the rear of the field. Normie Fisher back there from Graham West. It's an unusual place for Normie to be. 64 the car as well. Well, our race leader is New South Wales 1 and Tanya Peacock, 1 left to go. This young lady from New South Wales doing very well. We've got a good battle on our hands from 71, the car of Hugh Forson. Bob Lilly out into the fence. And over the line for the finish is 1, New South Wales 1. Then we've got 71. And right, the official placings for that race were in first place, number 1, New South Wales 1, Tanya Peacock. In second place, number 71, Samuel Horson. And in third place, number 55, David Cox in the Chrysler Centura. The fastest lap time for that race was 22.12 seconds, and the official race time was 3 minutes 03.89 seconds. 24, but it's Graham West, the lead car. They go around straight from Scholar. Then we've got Smith from Mouldy Calderwood. McCarthy down there in the 6th car. Quickly making a move. Mouldy Calderwood. Neil Watson out into the fence. Keep it on the track, Neil. So back to the lead car, and that's the car of Westy. Carlin's looking for somewhere to go. Gets into the back of McCarthy as he goes around there. Making the move up under McCarthy now. Down the inside then he's got the car of Smith out there with him. McCarthy's out into the wall. Gets it back down on the track. Seeing if he can get underneath the car there of Smith. But it's West doing it well out there in the 56 car. From Bendigo, Graham West. We've still got Peter Scholar in there in 24. Carlin and Smith side by side, but Carlin now up in the third place in the West Pacific Motor Traders car. Now he takes second as Scholar goes wide out into the concrete, trying to get it down. Now gets it down, but he's lost 2 places. Graham West, the lead car from Carlin in 2. Smith out wide, and then Lucky Phil McHale up underneath. Scholar comes back up into 4th place. Then we've got Smith from Nielsen. It's still West in the 56 car as he comes around to lap the slower cars. From Carlin in 2. Then we've got McHale in 11. 24 Scholar. And we've got the 28 car down there. With West Cloud in the snow. We'll have to... From McCarthy in 6, Watson in 17, and in the 28 car, and I think that's Scholar there running 24 from Calderwood, Graham West, trying to make up ground. But it's car 2, that of Carlin, takes the win. First place in that race was in the number 2 car, Max Carlin. And then in second place, right behind him was Phil McAuliffe in the number 11 car. And then bringing up the third place was number 31, Neil City. The fastest lap time for that race was 20.36 seconds. And the official race time was 2 minutes 53.17 seconds. Right, well keep your eye on the other New South Wales car here, the car 3 of Bob Walling. He's at the front of the field. He saw what Tanya Peacock did from the rear, so let's see what Bob can do from the front. 44, Warren Meisner on the inside. And up around into the first corner, taking into the fact that some of these guys that are racing on this surface for the first time. Especially the first 2 cars. Anthony Christie has been here before. Ken Alabini in the 18 car. Now they're all around safely around the first lap, so it's Bob Walling in the New South Wales car. Smoke coming from a couple of cars there, looks like they've got a little bit of problem. Up there in front, looks like Weezer looking for the run around on the outside. 32 Anthony Christie moving up there as also is the 65 car. That's the one at Russell High. Ken Alabini from 9 65, and Mark Bunning slower time. And 36 is having a bit of a tussle with the fence as he goes round. Bob Walling gets underneath him now, starting to open up a lead. Bob Walling in the New South Wales 3 car. Warren Meisner up there is 44, 65, the car of Russell Hines doing it pretty well. Then we've got a good battle there as Anthony Christie in 32 goes through. Peter Dowling moving up in the 99 car. And we've got 1 lap to go. Car. Then we've got 44, the car of Warren Meisner, and 65, the car of Russell Hines as they cross the line from Alabini. And Peter Dowling up there also, so quite a good race there in that one. And we've got the officials for you, we're just checking the time now. First place, the number 3 New South Wales car, Bob Walling. In second place, number 44, Warren Meisner. And in third place, number 65, Russell Hines. The fastest lap time for that race was 19.72 seconds. And the official race time was 2 minutes 44.06 seconds. Meeting a fortnight ago, so they've straightened the car out, got it all straight. And that's a pretty good car of Jock's, because Jock's the local agent for the Red Line roll cages. Right, well they go around the back straight away there, and Neil Watson the lead car as they go around. Then we've got hold up there, no we haven't, we've got the 21 car of Murley off the inside. From 10, which is David Newton, and we've got a good race here, and that's Bob Walling up there, I think, in the 3 car as they make it 5. Well, there's not much between the first 3. Up the main straight away, it's still Murley there from 10, the car of David Newton. Bob Walling in there in 3. There in the 17 car gets the move on the outside. 9, the car of David Seville. It's still a battle out there in front. Bob Walling looking for the run around on the outside. Not going to get it. Might get the run through on the inside. Car number 21 is in all sorts of trouble. A nice bit of driving, and this is what you've got. You've got the top guys out there. They make a few mistakes, but they get out of it. And nice lot of driving there from from Peter Murley. Well, that's made a bit of a change over the race as they come into straight. It's David Newton there in 10. Bob Walling in 3. 9, of course, the car of David Seville up there in 3rd place. 21 back there of Murley. Jock Clayton coming now up into 4th place. And Neil Watson's back in 6th. From Ken Alabini, Rod Smith and Malcolm Holt. Bob Walling getting the run through on the inside now to take the lead, but David Newton comes up and gives him a bit of a nudge. David Seville up there in the 9 car, not letting him get away from Jock Clayton. Bill Watson in the 24 car. Only he's not running 24, he's running 21, and that's the car of Murley from Ken Alabini, Rod Smith and Mal Holt. Well, it's Bob Walling in the 3 car. So that's David Newton and David Seville. Looks like this is going to be another one for Bob Walling too, as he comes around to finish Heat 2A. As they head up to the judges' box, it's number 3, Bob Walling, from car 10 and 9. Then we've got Neil Watson and Jock Clayton from 21, Peter Murley, Rod Smith, Ken Alabini and Mel Holt. Righto, well, that's 2 wins to Bob Walling. Gives him maximum points so far in the 2 heats, so let's see what unfolds as we get through the rest of the heats.
Right, the official placings for that race were number 3, the New South Wales car again, Bob Worley. Second place was number 10, David Newton. Third place was number 9, David Seville. The fastest lap time for that race was 18.77 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 37.92 seconds.
Modified production, 8 laps. Kerry Thompson on pole. Ian Calderwood in the little colt on the outside of him from Max Carlin. Right, well, we're going to have a good race here on our hands. Calderwood gets a little colt out in front from Thompson. Carlin goes out after him and round into the back straightaway. Leads them up into the straightaway from Calderwood. Carlin, Calderwood. Then we've got Thompson from the 12 car. And that's Billy Rick. Thompson in there. Dowling also up there in 5th place from the 32 car, that being the car of Anthony Christie. Well, there's not much in it. Carlin doing it nicely out in front from Calderwood, and Thompson there in the 45 car. Dowling on the outside in 99. Anthony Christie up there in 32. Then we've got the 12 car. That's the car of Billy Rick. Carlin out in front, clearing away from them now. From Dowling, the big mover up there in 99. From Calderwood in 13. Thompson in 45. Then we've got Anthony Christie up there in 32, which is 4th place now. Carlin doing it nicely out in front. Also Peter Dowling in 99. Moldy Calderwood there in the little colt getting points on the board at this stage. Anthony Christie moving up on him from Thompson. 12 car goes to the outside. That's the car of Billy Rick. Then we've got I think it's the 36 car of Brian Jacoby. That's the 26 car. Left to go. Carlin to the lead car. We've got a good fight on our hands here from 49. I thought we had a fight on our hand, but that's David Golightly, and he would be lapped at this stage. So looking for them to come over the finish line in Heat 2B, and it'll be the 2 car of Max Carlin. From 99, Peter Dowling. Here's the 3rd car, and that's Anthony Christie in 32. From Moldy Calderwood in 14. Then we've got the 12 car of Billy Rick, the 26 car of Davey Brewer. 24 is Peter Scholar, and 45 hasn't got a wheel. We've got a tie down on the bottom corner.
Right, the official placings for that race were first number 2, Max Carlin, second number 99, Peter Dowling, and third number 32, Anthony Christie. The fastest lap time for that race was 18.58 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 34.10 seconds.
Racing coming up with 2 more hits tomorrow night, and then the 35 lap final, the 20 car. In the starter's heat this time, we've got a start. day. Cars in trouble there, but as so often when you hit another car, it sort of fell straight to us, so it's following. The gale is now after him.
Second place, number 5, Anthony Wilson, and third place, number 65, is Russell Hines. Because of the malfunction, we haven't got a race time, but the fastest lap time for that race was 21.80 seconds. Thanks.
Right, well, we've got Sam Lawson here on pole and Colin Durham in 8th, so... should have a good chance here from Tanya Peacock and Peter Jacobson. This will be, and Warren Mead. There is there also a great Paul Sheed, this Normie Fisher. And they've got to run down these three front cars. Greg Gardner, he'll give them a little bit of curry there for a while. But this is going to be one heck of a heat. So let's hope as they come around now we can get a start. They all bunch up. So we'll be looking for some outside moves, I would say, as they get organised here. Right, so we're off and racing. He's sent out around half, and that's the Victorian champion out in front. And let's see who the gates are. Oh, Leslie nearly brings himself undone. Well, it's Peter Jacobson, the current champion. He's out now there from 71 down the car around. I think we've got John Thurin in there as well. And Tanya Peacock making a move now. She's in 5th place. Normie Fisher up there in 6th. Well, it's Peter Jacobson out there in 76th. Through there now, and likewise West. Jacobson meanwhile out there in front of 76 from Sedans, and we've got Gardner. Tanya Peacock there, plenty of action here. Then there's seat of the A-modified production. There's Peter Jacobson out there in 76. And we've got some cars off the bottom. Well, it's Horton that comes out of that blue car. Then we've got Graham West from Tanya Peacock. And Normie Fisher there having some fun with the car in front of him. And Jacobson's got to go now. It's the 76 car out in front. From Horton there, he's doing pretty well in 2nd place. Graham West up in 3rd. Greg Gardner. Gardner still holding around. So we got a good race in the hands here. We've just got the coming race left to go. Let's go back to the lead car. Here he comes now. Jacobson in the 76 car. We've got a fight on our hands here between Leslie and Horton. One is first and 2nd place. And round 3 cuts. All the best. There's 76 is the car of Jacobson. He's taken the win from 56, the car of West, and 71. Horton from 44, Warren Mead, Tanya Peacock there in 5th place, Gardner, 14, Normie Fisher, and David Flynn.
Right, the official placings for the P2D and the A1 Productions was first number 76 Peter Jacobson, second number 56 Graham West, and third number 71 Samuel Horton. The fastest lap time for that race was 21.55 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 54.11 seconds.
From Neil Sidey on the outside. They're off and racing. And Neil Sidey racing around from leads them around in the 31 car from Dennis Doyle there in 29. Then we've got Peter McCarthy in the Vilcura car from Rod Smith. Then we've got Warren Meisner in there. They're the front five as they go round. Neil Sidey from Peter McCarthy. Then we've got Rod Smith. I think it's the car of Cornwall moved up there. But it's still tight. He leads them around with Peter McCarthy. Rod Smith in 8. Then we've got Warren Meisner moving up on the inside there of 29 Dennis Doyle. And Shock's front down in the bottom corner. And the lights are on, so we'll have a restart. Right. We think it's 3 laps down and a single lane restart. Neil Sidey leads around Peter McCarthy. Pretty well much as you were. There's not many moves in that lap. Sidey, McCarthy, Rod Smith, Warren Meisner, David Hughes. Well, the heats have been pretty rather uneventful, but they're starting getting a little bit hectic now. Drivers getting a little bit more desperate, and you saw what happened. Right, we've got a nice close field there. From Peter McCarthy. Then we've got Rod Smith right on his wheel. Got out a little bit wide that time, and Smith got out of the move up in second place. Warren Meisner keeping up there in fourth place, and David Newton. Neil Sidey from Rod Smith. Then we've got Peter McCarthy. Oh, that best presented car nearly got some panel damage then. He got a little bit untidy down the back straightaway. Just one lap to go for Neil Sidey in the 31 car. McCarthy back up in second place. Warren Meisner in there in third. Rod Smith fourth. David Hughes trying to get in there in fifth place. And we've got the finish coming up now. And it's 31 Neil Sidey from 6 McCarthy. Warren Meisner gets home in third place from Rod Smith. Then the 10 car of David Hughes.
Right, the official placements for that race were in first place, number 31, Neil Sidey. Second place, number 6, Peter McCarthy. And third place, number 44, Warren Meisner. There was no race time because of the 2 incidents we had, but the fastest lap time was 20.47 seconds.
Yeah, Aaron Gartner was, Greg Gartner was dropped off the heat list, so he's in there in that position. Right, well, I tell you, Peacock has got the pressure right on this side, and he's out there in the New South Wales one side, one car. Cox is right behind her. Peacock is leading Cox, and we've got 9 cars right in the middle. 14 up there. Daniel Peacock doing fine style out in front. Cox is out wide, playing with the 9 car underneath him. That's David Seville. But Cox is back in the lead from Daniel Peacock now leading them around. From Cox. Paul Green moving up there, having a great couple with David Seville, and I just can't pick up that other car, but I think it's the 65 car run by. Daniel Peacock moving around from Cox in 55. Seville back there in 9. 65, the car on that line's doing it pretty well. Been up there well, Norby Becker, Jock Blake. Then they're sort of bunched up behind that, but it's Daniel Peacock out in front. From Cox and still David Seville, and right behind from Paul Green, Jock Blake, Norby Becker. Andrew Milburn into the Alexander car. Gardner there in 17. But just the one left to go now. Daniel Peacock is from the copper and silver for the night, and Holden spins off. And Russell Hines gets it a little bit untidy. Paul Green's out. So he was going pretty well until then. Daniel Peacock in New South Wales. Then we've got Cox in second place from David Seville. 65 is behind Jock Blake, Norby Fisher, Andrew Miller.
Right, the official placings for that race were in first place, number 1. Second place was number 55, David Cox. In third place was number 9, David Seville. The fastest lap time for that race was 19.79 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 40.06 seconds.
Right, well they're in the starter's hands, and Peter Dowling will be the one to watch here on the pole position. From Mark Boning, Brian Jacoby, Ken Alabini, David Glynn, Graham West will be 56 will be all out, and Neil Watson. Westy up there makes the move up into second position, having a good battle with second position, just about got the nose in front as they come around up into the straightaway. David Glynn in there also. So it's Peter Dowling in the 99 car. 56 Graham West, Ken Alabini in 18 Robbie Cole. And not Gary Corner, but it's the 32 car Anthony Kid Christie that comes to jump on the other two. And it's pretty good racing over there. when you watch those cars in second place. First Peter Dowling in 99 from Westy. And then we've got Ken Alabini, Molly Colwood. 32, David Seville, and they've got right into 32. And I think that'll be a restart in their normal positions. I don't think they'll get a start this lap. We've got these cars jammed up behind. It's Ken Alabini from Molly Colwood in the little Colt. David Glitter, Ken Alabini from Mark Bunning and Davey Brewhart. Peter Dowling in 99, but Graham West not giving him money. Then we've got Anthony Christie there from Neil Watson. Ken Alabini, Mark Bunning and David Brewhart. Over the other side and Watson looking for the run under and Christie but couldn't quite get it. Meanwhile it's Dowling and West right at it. We've got the 2 laps to go. And David's been brought himself undone over there in the bottom corner. Just the 1 lap to go. Certainly bad luck for Goldie because he was going pretty well, but Peter Dowling takes the win from Graham West in 56. Anthony Christie, Dale Watson, Ken Alabini. Then we've got Mark Bunning and Davey Brewhart cars to finish.
Race was first number 99, Peter Dowling, second number 56, Graham West, and third number 32, Anthony Christie. The fastest lap time for that race was 19.54 seconds, and we did work out a race time. It was 2 minutes 38.28 seconds.
5:30 on 983 HA, we'll give you the starting time. They're in the starter's hands, and it's Phil McHale. Billy Rick. Anthony Wilson up there in the little 5 car, and Max Carlin. Big charge from the rear of the field. Where did he come from? Anthony Wilson leads them around. Billy Rick is in fourth car. Carl and Wilson from Phil McHale on Walling. going to be one heck of a race. This is only an 8-lapper. It's 1 lap to go for Max Carlin. Anthony Wilson, Bob Morley. They're trying to thread their way through the traffic. 1, 2, 5, 3. From 11. There we have Billy Riggs, Peter Jacobson. Well, that's the finish of that race. That was a pretty good race, and as I say, some of those guys in there, they're really going to be right in there tomorrow night, and it's all going to happen.
Right, the official placings for that race were in first place, number 2, Max Carlin. In second place, number 5, Anthony Wilson. And in third place, number 3, Norm Fisher. Bob Worley. The fastest lap time for that race was 18.69 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 37.84 seconds.
Series. And it should be a good night, and of course we race again in February, the 23rd, I think it is, a fortnight later. And now they're off and racing. From Joel there in the 24 car, Carney up there in the 6 car, Rod Smith also. Max Carlin will do it all over again. Oh, and he hits the wall. It's very unusual for Max. Oh, there's a roll over. It's sold. Crackerjack heat on their hands here. Peter McCarthy from Graham West, Max Carlin, Neil Watson, and Burley. 15 cars. McCarthy from Carlin, that's the old one. Ryan West in 56. Don't be the scholar. Just a lot left to go for McCarthy. Carlin second at Watson 17. West there in 56. Going around for the finish flag this time, and it's McCarthy in 6, Carlin in 2, Watson in 17.
Right, the official placements for that race were first, number 6, Peter McCarthy, second, number 2, Max Carlin, and third, number 17, Neil Watson. The lap time for that race was 19.21, his fastest lap time, and the official race time was 2 minutes 35.39 seconds.
Okay, well, that's it for tonight.
Night of racing at Western Speedway. Here the second night of the VSC Victorian A modified production title, ran at Western Speedway on January the 27th. We're talking to the guy who last night had a pretty good night, ended up with second on the point score with 2 wins and a second. And Max is making signs to me. It's good evening to Max Carlin, you can explain to me. Max was involved in, well, he wasn't involved in the incident, he was involved in a race that we had to do a rerun of, so we actually have on film probably one more heat than in the program, but there was a discrepancy with some cars and some flag signals, and you were involved in that rerun. Max, did it affect you at all?
No, not really. I won the race, the first race, but the second race, I would have only come second in the first one, only for the discrepancy, so we're probably on the same points as we would have otherwise.
Right, now, is there something wrong with my addition there? You were pointing to the program?
Yeah, you want to go back to school and that up.
What have I done wrong, Max? So we'll go 20. What do you reckon you've ended up with? 40?
About 100.
About 100. Well, you are the top point scorer then.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Max. Yes, well, I did do these rather hurriedly, and you're equal top point. You're the outright point scorer, so you must be very pleased with that.
Yeah, we're pleased so far with the way it's going. Good. Yeah.
And your sponsor, Western District Motor Traders, must be pretty pleased with the way that you've been going this season. You had the South Australian title a couple of weeks ago. You took out the Classic down at Geelong, so everything going pretty well at this stage.
Yeah, real good, yeah, for sure. Yeah, without Joffer, I wouldn't sort of be running this year, so, you know, it's good, and he's liking it too.
Right, well, you're right up there at the top point scorers, and the 2 cars from New South Wales, Miss Peacock and Bob Walling. How have you raced against them at all?
Yeah, we've run against them before, you know, we're pretty competitive with them. So.
And will they be a bit of a worry tonight, do you think?
Oh yeah, they're always a worry for sure.
Right, well, we wish Max the best of luck. We regard him as a Hamilton driver, although he's a member of our neighbouring Portland club, and I think Hamilton here is his home track, and we do wish Max all the very best.
Thank you, Dom.
Good, thanks. Up near the top point scorers from last night, our people that have travelled the furthest to this meeting here at Western Speedway, and from Lismore in New South Wales, Mr Bob Walling. and driving the other team car, Miss Tanya Peacock. So welcome first of all to Western Speedway, Bob.
Thank you very much, Norm.
And Tanya.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, we'll talk first of all to, perhaps we might just talk to Tanya, Bob, do you mind?
Oh, well, ladies first.
Yeah, we will do that. I was just sort of, we will talk to Tanya first. And your first impressions of the track, Tanya, first of all?
Well, it's not unlike our home track, actually. It's probably a little bit wet for our likings just at the moment, but if it dries up, our cars should perform not too bad, I think, yeah.
Right, well, you went fairly well. You had 2 wins and down in the middle of the field. So what are those 2 wins? What were you thinking when you were out in front?
Well, both the heats last night were, as I said, fairly wet, so it was a little bit hard to set the car up and give it a feel of what it would feel like for the final, but I just wanted to stay away from everyone and keep out of trouble, really.
Yeah, I was checking your times with yours and the boss, and he was only about a second up on you, and you seem to be driving, might get sacked over this, but I thought you were driving more smoothly. He seemed to be doing it harder, and yet his times were better, so you seem to be doing very well out in front.
Yeah, I think Bob's car is actually a bit pushier than mine. I guess that's probably why mine looks a bit smoother than his.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Tanya, and all the very best for tonight with 2 heats, and no, dare say we'll see you out there in that big final.
Thanks, hope very safe.
Right, well now, Bob, as I was just saying to Tanya, I thought she drove more smoother, but you were the faster. What did you think of the track out there and the conditions?
I thought the track has possibilities. As Tanya said, it's not unlike our home track in Lismore. Tonight's racing is going to be different, and my car was pushier than Tanya's, and her car was definitely smoother out there, but I probably did a bit harder work at it. But I think tonight both cars will come out differently, and I think we'll give it a good run.
Right, well, you're both going to be up near the front, and you had 2 wins likewise to Tanya, so is there any instruction when you're driving? Do you get right away, or does she have to follow you?
No, it's driver takes his line. The only thing is you don't crash the other fellow out to go through, but if one driver's in front, doesn't matter who that is, if Tanya's in front of me on the last lap and I'm behind her, if I can't take her fair and square, she takes the checkered flag.
Right, so as long as the field of bred cars come home, that's all you're interested in at this stage, either 1, 2 or 3?
We want fielders home 1, 2.
Righto, well that's fair enough, Bob. Well, both to Bob and Tanya, all the very best for tonight. Thanks very much too for coming all the way from Lismore to Western District down here at Western Speedway, and we hope that you have a good night and a safe trip home.
Thanks, Norm. Just before you go, do you mind, I'd like to wish Max and particularly Peter Jacobson all the best tonight. I think they're both top competitors, and though Peter didn't have a good night last night, I think he's going to be up and firing tonight.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a great race. Hamilton Speedway Drivers Club, and of course Peter won a title here on his home track 3 years ago, Pete, roughly?
Yeah, that's right, Norm. Yeah, 3 years ago.
In a Tirana at that stage?
That's right, yeah. Little Tiranas are good cars, but I think the Commodores and the Cortinas are kind of outgrown them now. You've got to look at something else, don't we?
Righto, now this car, you only just purchased this last week, was previously a Mount Gambier car, and of course its first night out here at Western Speedway, it took a feature win, so it's a pretty good car.
Yeah, it seems to be a good little car. I've only had it for, as you say, since last week, but took a couple of races to get going in it, but I'm starting to get the feel of it, so hopefully I can go on with it tonight.
Right, well you took a second and a win, and down near the rear of the field to pick up 77 points. You're quite happy with that?
Oh yeah, quite happy with it. Yeah, if I can do the same tonight, I'll be happy and start up in the top half a dozen. Well, you never know, do you?
Who do you think at this stage are, well, props the top 3? Who's going to be the other 3, 4 drivers that you're going to have to look at?
Oh, I think Max Carlin has to be favourite. Peter Jacobson, you can't really discount him. He didn't have a very good night last night, but you never know with Peter. The 2 whirling cars, there's quite a few of them here, but I think Max would have to be odds-on favourite, I'd say.
Righto, well there we are, a driver that's real confident that he's going to do well tonight. I'm sure he's going to do well tonight, and perhaps Hamilton will be lucky enough to come home with another Victorian champion tonight.
Thanks very much, Tom.
Another contender who would be quite happy with his run last night, because he's had a terrible run during the season, but last night he got the car out on the track and got it fired up, and welcome to Western Speedway for the second night to Neil Woppy Watson.
Thanks, Norm. Yeah, last we've got the car running, and we're getting some laps in anyway. That's something.
Right, well you probably ended up with about a third and a couple of 4th or 5ths last night, somewhere down there?
Yeah, 2 4ths and a third. yeah, the car's getting better all the time actually, so we're sorting it out, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were going to say you had a mongrel of a run so far, so to get some racing out, to get some points on the board, you'll be looking forward to the 2 heats tonight.
Yeah, hoping we'll do even better tonight if we can, Norm. Bolted a couple of things around on the car and that'll help it. It was had a bit of a problem with lifting a wheel last night, lifting the inside front wheel, and so I hope we fix that today, and that'll help the car a lot. Yeah.
Right, Neil. Well, we'll wish you the best of luck for tonight, and we'd like to see one of these HA cars come home in the VSC A Modified Production title. Thanks, Wobbie, and all the very best.
Thanks very much, Norm.
Your sponsors, your main sponsors, any costs? Right, from Mildura, all the way from Mildura, I should say, up there in the sunny north, down here to where it's been raining at Hamilton, but we hope for a good night tonight. Peter McCarthy, welcome to Western Speedway.
Thanks very much.
Just talking to you before we come on, you said you weren't really happy with your point score, but just looking in there, you've notched up 74 points and with a win and probably a second and a little bit back in the field, so I'd be quite happy with that. But do you feel that you would like to have done better?
Oh, we should have done better. We shouldn't have been back in the field in that third race, but never mind, that's the way it goes.
How are you finding it at Western Speedway here at Hamilton?
Not bad, yeah. We've got to come to grips with the track as yet, but we'll sort out tonight.
Right, some pretty good cars out there, although I say you had a win, so you wouldn't have seen much in that. But the second one, who would you follow around in that one?
I can't remember who it was, to be honest. But there's some quick cars, yeah. Some good cars and some quick cars, and they're going to be all hard to beat.
Right, well, we've had a few incidents out there, but the racing seems pretty clean. What do you think of that as a driver?
It is, yeah, very clean. You know, normally titles are crash bash, but last night was excellent, so I hope tonight's the same. Right,
and Pete, well, we wish you all the very best. So these guys have come a long way. We appreciate the fact that they do that, and Peter McCarthy, all the very best for tonight.
Thanks very much.
Right, well, on the second night of the A Modified Production title here at Western Speedway, Lucky Phil, they call them sometimes. Sometimes they're lucky, sometimes they're unlucky, and we don't know about this guy last night. You were involved in a rerun heat, and it sort of was a fairly sensational sort of a heat, Phil.
Yeah, it was actually, Norm. Yeah, there was a bit of an incident where in the first heat, Graham West was leading the race and came up on a lap car and unfortunately got tangled up with it, and they put out the caution flag, and some of the drivers saw it and some of the drivers didn't. So in turn they decided to rerun the heat, and yeah, I got tangled up with Rod Smith. Unfortunately, he rolled his car, and I hit him fairly hard. Rod won't be racing tonight, but them's the breaks, and we got my car going again, which is the thanks to Rod, you know, for doing that, and hopefully we'll have a good night tonight and make the final.
Right, well, you know, it must have been a sort of an eerie feeling to be going around the track, not being able to stop, I dare say, and seeing this car coming down out of the sky.
Yeah, that's for sure. I started off 10th, and I was moving up a few positions at the time, and I just flat out down the back straight and went round the corner, and here's Rod in mid-air, and I was sort of nowhere to go and all day to do it in, and cleaned him up in the process.
What were your actual reaction? Were you under brakes, or were you looking for somewhere to go?
Yeah, I was under brakes and just pulled down left, and obviously didn't go left hard enough, and just unfortunately to clip him. Yeah.
Right, and of course this sent him onto another roll. I suppose that's not the sort of feeling that you like in your stomach to say, well, look, what have I done to the guy?
Yeah, I was a bit concerned about his safety, but the car was well built, and he got out of it without a scratch, which was good. A bit stiff and sore today, but yeah, not too bad.
Right, I think this is the beauty of Speedway, of course. We saw that very spectacular roll, and as you say, he walked out of the car.
Yeah, he got away scot-free, which is good. The safety aspect of it is very good. Quite happy with it. Right,
well, you're not doing all that badly. You're in there with a show, and I'm sure we're going to see you in the final.
Yeah, I hope so. After all the work all the crew's put in and everyone else, be good to make it.
Right, well, we look forward to the action there at Western Speedway tonight with Lucky Phil. Thanks, Phil.
No worries.
Right, well, another one of the guys that have travelled down from Mildura, and welcome to Western Speedway, Paul Sheen.
Thank you.
Paul had a run here a couple of weeks ago and had a pretty good night, but he's not going so well tonight. You had a third, and a couple of heats you haven't really done them too well.
No, we've had a few problems with the car, and plus we had to remove a part off it yesterday because they weren't going to let us race. We've gone back to a standard carburetor and manifold, but we'll see if we can do all right in heat tonight, and we should be pretty right.
Right, you've only got to pick up a couple of wins or something like that tonight, and you'll be right up there with them?
Yeah, I reckon if we get in the first 3 places in each of the heats tonight, we should be right.
And the track here, how are you finding it?
Oh, the track itself's all right. The car doesn't like it though. She just wants to sit on top when it's wet, and that's our main problem, really.
Righto then, well, we wish Paul all the very best, and we just say we do appreciate these guys coming all the way down here to race at Western Speedway. Thanks, Paul, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Peter Jacobson, a well-known identity in the Speedway scene, been around for quite a few years, been down to Western Speedway before, hasn't had a real good run down here, and we'll talk to him about that. And how are you feeling about tonight's couple of runs that you got left, Peter?
Well, we worked on the car after smashing the thing up a fortnight ago at Mount Gambier, and we had a few problems last night, but well, I hope we sort it all out today and we'll go from there, I hope.
You had a pretty good drive there where you won your heat and a couple of middle of the field performances. Do you have any problems with the car?
Yeah, well, I hope we fix that today. That's what I sort of said a second ago. You know, we had a left-hand front wheel jamming up, and probably just me a bit too. You know, we sort of had to dial it in and see how we're going on different tracks. They're all sort of different. You got to sort of muck around a little bit.
I think it'd be a fair comment to say you really haven't had a good run at Western Speedway. You've been down here quite a few times. Have you recall any successes that you've had?
Yeah, back in the old days we won a couple of races here, but nothing in the last years, no. In the last 5 years, no.
No, well, it certainly is good to have Peter Jacobson back at Western Speedway. He is the current title holder, and well, if you can't win it, you think who may give you a good challenge?
Oh, I think Maxi Cowan. That's about it, Maxi Cowan.
You've had some great duels with this guy, no doubt, over the last few years.
Yeah, he's probably the greatest racer in Victoria, or if not Australia, as far as I'm concerned.
The only problem is it's 17 years since he last won one, and you've won one last year. You think that's any advantage to you?
Oh, yes and no, but you know, this track he's got it down fairly well at the pack, and not that it really worries us, but you know, he's a good operator here, and he's got his car going good at the moment, and you know, if anyone's going to beat him, you know, they'll be going all right.
You've changed to driving a Cortina after many years as being a General Motors driver. How have you found it?
Oh, a little bit different, but you know, we only changed because we sort of got a bit bored, I suppose, and we sort of sold it and had nothing to do, and then we just went and got another body and started again. And you know, probably been a good thing, I suppose, but it's kept everybody interested.
Over the years, you've been, as I say, in Speedway a long time. A few changed, a lot of new, different types of cars coming in. Must be good for the sport.
Oh yeah. Well, you can't take it away from Bob Worley and his outfit over there. You know, they're top cars, and you know, this sort of thing, as it goes on with good cars, it's got to improve the whole sport for not only us but for everybody. You know, good racing.
Right, just one more final question. We don't seem to get many young blokes coming in. Would you like to see more young fellas coming up and perhaps having a go at the sport?
Oh yeah, it'd be good. You know, that's we started when I was 15, and I see there's a lot of young blokes in the sprint cars, but it comes back to the dollars, and that's what you see, a lot of young blokes in the fender benders and that sort of thing. But if you haven't got, it takes a bit of money to keep these things going, and if you're not winning and you can't sort of maintain the performance of the car and buy the right tyres, you know, you tend to slip behind a little bit, and it all comes down to the dollars and cents as far as I'm concerned. And then you've got to keep the things set up right too. But you know, you've got to be able to, these tyres now, when we started buying racing tyres 10 years ago, you know, $90 each, and now you're paying up to $265 for them, and that's the killer. All right, well, defending his title here at Western Speedway, we certainly wish Peter Jacobson all the very best for tonight. Thanks, Peter. Thanks very much. About not many young fellas coming into the sport, and I walk over here and I find a young bloke that tells me he's only been driving this car for 6 months. Is that right, David?
Yes, that's right.
Right, well, we're talking to David Newton, and he's the pilot of the Moncton concrete car, and you're from down Nyora.
Yeah, Nyora Club.
Right, which is, of course, down in Gippsland, and how are you finding this, driving this Commodore?
Yeah, good fun, real good fun. Fairly easy to drive.
Right, briefly, what have you been doing? What have you been driving before?
I did Formula 500s for one season when I was about 16, and I got out of that and just showed an interest in these for a few years and got a drive eventually.
Right, well, there you are, and you, as I said, we picked up a second last night. You've been happy with that?
Yeah, it was real good.
And you've got 2 heats tonight, so you'll be looking to have a good run and perhaps make that final.
Yep, hope so.
Right, well, we said young blokes, we'd like to see them up and coming, so we will wish David Newton all the very best for tonight. Thanks, David.
Yep, thank you.
Well, from Murray Bridge, we have Warren Meisner. Welcome to Western Speedway, Warren.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks very much.
Right, well, we saw you in action a fortnight ago over there at South Australia. You finished third in the title over there. You had a pretty good field of cars. You're over here at Western Speedway, and you've come with a second, a third and a fourth.
Yeah, that's pretty steady, and we're happy with that, I think. Hopefully a couple of bit better draws tonight, and we'll see what happens, but it's a whole new ball game.
Right, of course, this is what happens. New track, haven't driven here before. How do you sort of cope with these conditions?
Well, steady, got to be steady. Steady and you've got to finish, that's the important thing. There's a lot of top cars, but it's anybody's race, and as long as you're running, you're in with a chance. So, but yeah, you got to take it easy. So.
And the racing here's been pretty clean, is my opinion. How have you found it?
Yeah, very clean. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's fast out there, but it's very clean, and I think the drivers, they drive hard, but they drive carefully and cleanly, and it's good. So because you can get some rough racing, but definitely over here it's clean.
And your impressions of the track the first time you've been on it?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, good. Yeah, it'd have to be one of my favourite tracks. So we'll be back one day, hopefully.
Well, there we are. We just certainly hope that you will be back. You've been talking to Warren Meisner, and we wish you all the very best for tonight, Warren.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Got in the rerun too, weren't you?
Yeah, I had to run in that last one.
Right, well, at Western Speedway here, we're talking to a guy that was really successful in his last outing out here. He won the 50-lapper. Conditions a little bit different this weekend.
Yeah, the track was very greasy. One stage there, the first couple of races were really greasy, and some of the cars had a lot of trouble getting around, but this old girl likes the wet, and I really got into it. It was good driving. As the night went on, the track got really slick, and this car went off song a bit, you know. It's just got to set it up a bit different somehow.
And of course, you were involved in that race that we had to rerun again. You tangled with a tail end, or he tangled with you. We won't say how it happened, but you were happy with the rerun decision?
Oh yeah, well, it was better than the 7th I would have run, or 8th or whatever. It was wrong, you know. I couldn't see why the race wasn't stopped at the time, and I protested verbally, and then I lodged a protest which they didn't even put forward because all the drivers voted in that we rerun the race. I sort of would like to thank the drivers for doing that, and Ann Golding for chasing it around for me.
I suppose it was the spirit of the thing that the other drivers were of the opinion that you had a pretty unfair decision, and they were agreeable to rerun it.
Well, it was a hands-up sort of thing. Well, I was sort of asked to put my hands up, but there wasn't a driver that didn't put their hands up. I'd like to thank them. What more can I say?
Right, well, we can say that you had 2 seconds, and you'll certainly be looking for a good run out there tonight in your next 2 heats, and all the best in the final.
Thanks very much. I'd like to thank the Hamilton Speedway Drivers Club and all my sponsors, and I hope to put on a good show for the rest of them.
Right, and I no doubt he will. Graham West, thanks very much for talking to us here at Western Speedway.
Thank you.
And the best luck. Right, well, over the years, this guy's been a fairly regular visitor here at Western Speedway. He raced a lot at this track, although if you'd seen him a fortnight ago when he ended up on his roof, you wouldn't have thought that. But Jock, welcome back to Western Speedway, and glad that you could get the car straightened out and back here.
Yeah, thanks, Norm. We did have a bit of a problem last week. We tried to alter suspension to try and make it go better. It was a backward move. Back to what we got. The car's going pretty good. Felt the track was a bit wet last night, but I think with the weather today, it'll be a different track again tonight. Hope for better things.
Right, you said you picked up a couple of fifths last night, so you would have liked to have done a little bit better, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, I know. We're in with good company tonight, and if I can get anywhere near foot qualifying, I'll be happy.
Right, well, of course, you've got 20 cars that qualify, so even if you're up the rear of the field, you're in there, you've got a show.
Yep, if you're in there, you've got a show, that's for sure. If you can start from the rear, everyone's got a chance.
Looking at the field, you know, we've been talking to the qualifiers. You reckon this would be a pretty open sort of a race?
Oh, yeah, probably got a few up the front there you could pretty well pick out in the first 5. Like Max would have to be a definite starter in the front runners. The 2 Walling cars right up there. Jacobson's had a bit of an on-off night. I think tonight will be a different story. Anthony Wilson, he'll be pretty well right up there with him, but it'll be pretty open, I think, yeah.
Right, well, thanks for talking to us, Jock. We wish you the best of luck in your 2 heats and hope that you make it out there for this 35-lap final.
All right, thanks a lot, Norm.
Good job. Hang on, I've just got to check him out, Rich. Sorry. Right, well, we're taking a little bit of comfort here, and we're sitting in Anthony Wilson's tow unit, and very comfortable. Everybody sitting around have a cup of coffee. Anthony, a bit of a saying that always a bridesmaid, never a bride, but no doubt tonight you'll be looking for a change in that old saying.
Yeah, I could hope so, Norm, but hard to tell. We've got an outside pole in the next heat with Bob Walling off pole, so that'll be an interesting one. And more than likely maybe a second again, but that'll give me 4 seconds for the heats and hopefully put me maybe in the top 6 for the final, and we'll go from there.
Right, I think watching all the cars last night, we saw them all, and as you say, you ran 3 seconds, and that's consistent. Who were the guys perhaps that beat you? Can you recall them?
Yeah, Max knocked me off in the last heat, but Bob and Jakey finished behind me, which was good, and was on the pace a little bit there. The first heat went in, it was pretty wet, and the Commodore from Alexandra beat me, and the second heat, that's right, Phil McCullough got a fair break, and I run in behind him in second there, but hopefully another second tonight, and got a reasonably bad draw in the last heat, so it might peg me down a little bit too, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you're allowed to drop. They do drop your worst one, so that really won't be any concern if you get a good placing in your next heat.
That's right, mate, and hopefully, like I said, we'll put a top 6 in the final, maybe, and then we'll go from there. It's a long race, and we'll see what happens.
Right, well, we're talking about this, joking about this prize, mate, but you have been very unlucky in Victorian titles with several seconds and thirds.
Yeah, I've led a couple of titles. I've led it down here, and I led it at Ballarat, and just things happen, you know, lap cars a couple of times and that sort of thing, but you got to be on the pace of these blokes. If you keep up with them a bit, and lap cars sort of tend to bugger a few litres up, so you might be able to jump up a few spots and stay in there, hopefully.
Righto then, well, Anthony, a regular racer here at Western Speedway, so we wish him all the very best, and we'll be looking forward to tonight's action. Speedway, on this the second night of the VSC Victorian A Modified Production title, and from the Alexander Club, Anthony Christie. Welcome to Western Speedway, Anthony.
Yeah, thanks. Been a good night's racing last night and that. The track was a bit wet from the rain, but other than that, it was all right.
Right, well, you had, what were we saying, 2/3?
And a fourth there. A couple of rear field draws and that. Wasn't too bad, eh? I'd say really the first meeting for the car, so not too bad.
So a new car, and of course you have driven here at Western Speedway before?
Yeah, just once before, about 6 years ago or something.
Well, you probably would have forgotten all about it, but it's good to see you back, and you're happy with the way the car went?
Yeah, real happy with it. All the boys have been working on it last night to get it going a bit better, and again this morning, so it might go a bit better today. A bit of luck.
I see they're working on it while you're sitting in the truck over there. That's the way to go, is it?
Yeah, better off them working on it than me. It's a lot easier.
Right, well, you're looking forward to tonight. A couple of good draws, and you should be up there with a bit of a show.
Yeah, I hope so. Just time will tell.
What do you reckon about 35 laps out there on that big track?
Shouldn't be too bad. Just hopefully we might be able to stick up with Peter and walling that, but I don't know. Just see how we go.
Okay then, well, there's a guy that's got a chance tonight at Western Speedway. There's a lot of guys got chances. It's a pretty open sort of a race. I don't think a lot of the drivers have been saying that Max Carlin will start favourite, but it probably depends on the 2 heats tonight. But I think we're in for a great night's racing here at Western Speedway, so let's sit back and wait for the racing to begin.
Right, well, we're in the starter's hands for the Big 4A. It's Walling from Anthony Wilson. This is the one that Anthony's really looking forward to, and he gets into the back of Walling as they go around the canteen corner. Wilson, the front runner, look at Cox move through the field there in the 5 car. So it's Bob Walling there in New South Wales 3, with Anthony Wilson in the 5 car right up behind him from Cox. Now we've got Ricketts up there in the 19 car from Christie in 32, Clayton and the 8 car, and we've got Walling in all sorts of trouble as Wilson straightens with Bob Walling up as they go past him. And it's Anthony Wilson out in front. And Cox up there in the 5 car. Followed by Christie in 32, Ricketts up there in 9, Scott Clayton, and there's Bob Walling trying to regain his position in the New South Wales 3 car. Anthony Wilson in the 5 car that leads them around. Bob Cox up there. 10.55. So Anthony Christie in 32, really making a bit of a move. Ricketts there in the 19 car, and Bob Walling got to work away now to get back up in there into the front running. Now they go out of the canteen corner. Walling working his way there on Ricketts, looking for a way around the V6 Capri. It's pretty much single file now as they go around. Well, it's Anthony Wilson there in the little 5 car. He's really stacking it up now. Cox is out after him there. And also Christie from Walling, and John White. And Ricketts is out in the Capri. Well, we sort of strung out Colin Durham down the 8 car, and Gavin Cately being, looked like being lapped, but as Wilson goes round out of the Canteen corner there. Looking for the run around on the inside, gets down onto the pole line. Cately out, keeping out wide, he's got to hold his line, he's got the flag, we've got one lap to go. It looks like Wilson might take this one out, so that leaves Wilson for the lead car from Cox. Walling working there on Anthony Christie. Now he gets through back into third place. So Christie's not giving up. He's working back on him, but Walling going now into the left car, and we're coming up to the finish. And Cately in all sorts of trouble over there, but he keeps out of everybody's road. There's the 5 car of Anthony Wilson over the line from Cox in 55. And Bob Walling there in the 3 car. Then we've got Anthony Christie. Cately finishes from Cox Lake. And we must have known Cole Durham coming around to cross the finishing line now. So Davey Ricketts out there having a bit of trouble with the V6 Capri. And Cole Durham will cross the line and pick up his points. And that's what it's all about, getting points on the board. Right, the official placings for that race were first, number 5, Anthony Wilson. Second, number 55, David Cox. And third, number 3, the New South Wales 3 car of Bob Walling. The fastest lap time for that race was 19.89 seconds. And the official race time was 2 minutes, 46.47 seconds. Right, well, we're in the starter's hands for Heat 4B. A modification. We're going to watch Peter Jacobson, the lead car. And car's not formed up close enough. So waiting on the 64 car to close up. Down the back straight away. Now watch Peter Jacobson, this is where the battle will be. What can he do from the pole position? Paul Sheen on the outside, Billy Rick in there in 12, and Peter Dowling in the 99 car. They're off and racing as they go around the top corner. It's Sheen just getting the lead there from Jacobson. Billy Rick comes in there too in third place, looking for a run down the straightaway. Peter Dowling getting a run through there. Off he go, he's up into 4th place. Around they go. It's Paul Sheen this time from Jacobson. Billy Craig there from Dowling. Then we've got Burley. All starting to spread out again. It's Paul Sheen doing it well out in front. Jacobson out after him. Peter Dowling looking for the run through there in 99. Throws it into the corner, but Billy Rick's got around in front of him. Billy Rick up in 3rd place. It's Paul Sheen still taking them around down into the back straightaway. The 2 Fords up there. Dowling shoving the car up there. Looking for that run through. Gets it now. It's Paul Sheen in the 16 car. There we've got Peter Jacobson up there in 76. Dowling out after the pair of them from Billy Crick. And Burley up there in the 21 car. As they go around once more. This track's starting to settle down now. It's back with Paul Sheen, the lead car from Jacobson there in 76 from 9. The car is Peter Dowling. They're the 3 front runners from Billy Creek. Then we're back to the 21 car of Burley. 37 car there, that being David Flynn. We've got the Russ Hines up back there in the 65 car from Holt in the 64 car, and then Calhoun, Ben Alabady in 8th. Well, they're not making much impression there on Paul Sheen. He seems to have fired the car up tonight, had a bit of trouble yesterday. And let's see now what Peter Dowling can do there with Jacobson. Right up on his bum as they went around. We've got 2 left, or 1 left to go as they come out of Smith's corner now up into the main straightaway here at West Speedway. It's Paul Sheen in the 16 car from Jacobson in 76. And Dowling right left, that's the 3 cars will stay with them as they go around down. Into the back straight away. Dowling trying to make the move up on Jacobson, but he hasn't got enough go to make much impression. He's not back, he's going to the outside run. He's got it on the outside. It's the local boy, Peter Dowling. It's coming up to the finish. It's Sheen. It's Dowling and Brian Jacobson there in third place. That was a great finish. Well, we had Billy Rick come over the line from the 24 car. And that was really a great finish. Well, what a great drive there from the Horsham boy, the Hamilton Club member, the car 9, running the rooftop number 99, Peter Dowling. He won the title back here 3 years ago when driving HA11. And can he get up there tonight? Chief Stewart not too impressed with a little bit of his driving, but it's been pretty good most of the night, and a good win there to 16, Paul Sheen. Right, as you just heard, number 16, Paul Sheen, took out first position. Second behind him in the number 99 car, Peter Dowling, and third in the number 76 car, Peter Jacobson. The fastest lap time for that race was 19.30 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 37.06 seconds. Righto, well, they got one lap to go. The Hampton starter wasn't very happy with the way they formed up. And they got a much better line this time as they go in. Just let David go lightly there. He's got a charge of cars right behind him. Warren Measter up there on the pole line from Tracy Ops. And Tanya Peacock on her, behind her. 2 lady drivers. Around wide. Oh, we've got cars gone everywhere there, and looks like Normie Fisher's the only one in trouble. But Normie Fisher in trouble over there in front of the canteen corner. So we'll have a restart. And just hope that those 2 cars have got out of it all right. So hopefully the cars will be formed up. They're going to let them go. Once again, it's Warren Measter into the corner from Tanya Peacock. He's got to he's got through there, steps out after Warren Measter. Lucky Phil, and look at this 3 wide down the back straight. That's Peter McCarthy. So it's Warren Measter leads them around. Tanya Peacock looking for the run through down on the inside. Warren Measter beats it to the corner. Phil McCarthy there from Avalon. Watch them come around there. And still Warren Measter, he's the lead car, he's keeping Tanya Peacock well behind him as they go around. Tanya looking for the run under now, moves right up on the rear bumper, but doesn't touch, and that's what it's all about. That's Lucky Phil there, Phil McHale. Now she gets the run through on the inside, and Warren Measter goes wide. Next Tanya Peacock is the front in the fielder's red car team. And we've got a slower car there that they're going to try and get around. It's the car of Ray Cordwell. Tanya Peacock, the lead car from Warren Measter. Then we've got Phil McHale from Peter McCarthy there in the 6 car from Tracy Ops. So down the back straight away. to go for Tanya Peacock. And we've got Warren Beasley there in the 44 cars. They go around and lap Bob Lilly. Then we've got Phil McCarthy from Peter McCarthy and Tracy Ox. And that's the way they'll finish as they come up now. It's number 1, Tanya Peacock from Warren Beasley in 44 and Bob Lilly. Oh my word, lucky Phil picked the line through there. From McCarthy and Tracy Ox. David, go lightly. First, number 1, Tanya Peacock in the New South Wales car. Second, number 44, Warren Musner. And third, number 34, sorry, third was Phil McAuliffe in the number 11 car. The fastest lap time was 18.12 seconds and the race time was 2 minutes 31.15 seconds. Right, they're in racing hands here for Vic 4D. It's Graham West as they go around the corner from the 9 car there of David Seville. Max Carlin, I don't know where has he come from. He's come from rear of the field and look at Max go. In the Western District Motor Traders car, he's up in a 3rd position from rear of the field. And we'll watch for them to go around the corner. It's West from Carlin. He's got this car flying tonight. Looking right up on the West bundle bar. Looking for the run down the back straight away, and look at Max poke that car up there, but Westy equal to the occasion. And we've got a fight on our hands here. As Max's bonus come loose, so hopefully that doesn't cause him any trouble that's come up over his vision. But Max Carlin passes West as they go down into the bottom corner. It's Carlin from West. Then we got David Seville. That bonus sitting pretty secure there from David Seville. Then we've got the 10 car of David Newton. 71 up there, Martin Houston. We've got a car around, we've got 2 around. A nice bit of driving there, and let's hopefully that they can sort themselves out. A nice piece of driving there from Neil Sidey it was. He's off the track, so there's no race stoppage. It's car 2. Max Carlin goes down the back straightaway. He's opened up a good 10 car lengths there from Graham West in the 56 car. Round the corner they go. Westy gets under Sidey. Got his sights set on Max Carlin now, but Carlin doing it nicely out there. Oh, we go back to car 9, then that of David Seville. 10 car there of David Newton. 71 is Martin Houston and Neil Watson in the rear of the field in Hamilton 17. No, there's Coxey there too. And Sidey behind him, so we're coming around for the finish. It's car 2, Carlin. He's over the pole line, over the finishing line. A great race from Carlin. 56 second was Graham West. Third was David Seville. Then we had David Newton. Then Neil Watson. Martin Houston. Oh, then we must have had Neil Sidey and Cox. Well, what a great race that was. What a great drive from Max Carlin in the West District Motor Traders car and the Hamilton Radiator Service car. That's a little bit of what you're going to see over those 35 magnificent laps for the A-modified production car.
title. Right, the winner of that race was number 2, Max Carlin, followed in second place by numbers 50, Graham West, and number 9, David Seville. The fastest lap time was 18.18 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 28.04 seconds. This time as they go down into the straightaway, and that's the car of Russell Hines. Hines out there at 65, Carlin 2, but Hines out wide. Carlin looking for the run through the inside. But he can't get it, he's got it now. As Hines goes wide, you can't afford to do that with the driver of Max Carlin's ability right behind you. Not giving up though, Hines comes back at him, and this is a two-man war right from the start. Where's Hines got this from? He hasn't done all well in the previous heat. This is his last heat, and he's really, second last heat, and he's really strong at Max Carlin. But Carlin getting away there now in West District Motor Car Traders. Cortina, he's doing it pretty well as he comes down into that bottom corner. It's Carlin in 2. We've got Hines there at 65. Now we're back to David Newton in 10. Jump right in the 14 car. They've got a big gap there on the 45 car there of Kieran Thompson. And then we head back to Tracy Ops, and we've just had Davey Riggett retire. Well, it's got Carlin out there doing pretty well in front. Starting to get away from Russ Hines now. Doing it fairly easy, but it's David Newton out there also. He's hanging on in third place in the 10 car. The two Moncton Godfrey cars from down by Oilway, so they're running 2 and 3 at the moment. From John Clayton. Old Carlin spreads them around now and hits the 2 car. He's got a pretty good lead from Russ Hines there at 65, but David Newton in 10. Now there's a bit of a reversal of form there from Russ Hines tonight because he didn't do much last time, but the Moncton Godfrey car fired up there now. So it's the Western District Motor Traders car there, the 2 car of Max Carlin. He's leading them around from Russ Hines. Let's see, we've got David Newton and John Clayton. And there's the finish. It's Carlin from Russ Hines. Then we've got David Newton in 10 from John Clayton in the 14 car. Tracy Ops getting a little bit untidy there because she's got to come round and of course across the finishing line. That's what it's all about. And there she goes over the line. That'll give her a bit of a thrill. Right, the official placings for that race are as you saw. First was number 2, Max Carlin. Second, number 65, Russell Hines. And third, number 10, David Newton. The fastest lap time for that race was 18.05 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes 26.47 seconds. starter's hands for this Heat 5B. And it's round the corner they go. It's Bob Willie, the lead car. Peter Dowling out after him now in the 99 car. Then we've got Colin Durham from Graham West. Dowling getting a little bit squeezed for room as he goes down the straightaway, but he's right now because Lily goes wide and that lets Dowling underneath. Looks like Graham West up there in the 56 car. So it's 99, 56 and 34, Bob Lilly from Colin Durham. Oh, and a little bit of a nudge there from that car, which we just can't quite pick up at the moment because of the light. But it's down. Neil now, Peter, oh, and go lightly up into the fence, but he gets out of it, he puts the car around, hopefully it won't, they can keep it going, but yes, he gets it around, nice bit of driving there from David Galantly. And it caused these guys a little bit of a problem, but no, he stays out wide, doesn't come down on the track and interfering with the racing. And Peter Dowling, the lead car from Graham West. But I think we're back to Bob Lilly in the 34 car. Here we've got Normie Fisher moving up in 4 now from Neil Sidey in 31, Colin Durham there in 8, Anthony Wilson in 5, and Gavin Gately in the 62 car. So it's Peter Dowling out there in 99. He's got Westy right on his tail. From Bob Lilly there in the 34 car from Fisher and Neil Sidey, and they'll go lightly. Getting into a little bit. Oh, Fisher gets him as he goes around. And he's had a little bit of treatment in this event, but he's not quitting as David go lightly in the little bed. Meanwhile, it's back with Peter Dowling. Peter says, what's going on here? I passed this bloke last time around, but he's not going to worry about it this time. He's got enough up there. If he lightly comes out in wide and blocks his run, but Peter had enough up his sleeve from Graham West there in 56. Bob Lilly in 34 from Normie Fisher in the 4 car. Then we have Neil Sidey coming home from Anthony Wilson now. What was he doing way back there in the 5 car? From Colin Durham and Gavin Gately. And David go lightly. Although he got knocked from pillar to post, he comes around and finishes. I don't know what happened to Anthony Wilson there, that he certainly didn't fire up in that event. He came out of 7th place, and that's about where he finished. And the steward's going down onto the track now to talk to a couple of drivers. Right, the official placings for that race in the Heat 5B of the A-Modified Productions was first 99, Peter Dowling, second 56, Graham West, and third 34, Bob Lilly. The fastest lap time for that race was 18:54, and the official race time was 2 minutes 31.56 seconds. We've got 4 races to interval. If the ladies can hear us up there in the canteens, we've got 4 races to interval. Just like to get everything ready there, so get the cups of coffee out. So you've got 4 races to interval, and then I'll tell you about what's coming up. Right, well, we're in the starters' hands. This is their last seat for these guys, and they decide not to let them go. A little bit of, whoa! Well, that was Peter Murley. He got into a little bit of trouble there. He must have thought that they'd dropped the flag, but they hadn't dropped the flag. Right, well, you need to see the car in front. And if the car in front's not going, then you start to wonder why. Come around in a good line.
We've still got 12 cars running in this heat. Ken Alberni on pole from Martin Horston, Anthony Christian and Greg Gartner. They're the front runners. They're off and racing. Ken Alberni gets in the front of the 71 car. And that's Martin Horston, but Horston gets out of trouble and goes down the front straight away. On the back straight away from Ken Alberni. They're making a move up on him. That's Greg Gartner in the 97 car, and they come out wide. Jacobson. That's Greg Gartner looking for a run through on the outside of Forson, but Peter Jacobson's made a move this time. He knows that things are desperate. This is his last chance. He's got a good split there, but he goes to the outside. Oh, Gartner gets onto him, but he gets through now, and Jacobson goes forward. From Forson, Gartner. Well, we've got a good race on our hands this time. There's Anthony Christie moving up there into 4th place in the 32 car. It's Peter Jacobson out in front in 76 from Mark Horton in 71. Then we've got Gardner from Christie. We've got Bob Walling in there also. Cheers into the centre. That's bad luck for Paul. So it's Jacobson as they start to sort themselves out now. From the 71 car, of course, and then we've got Gardner. Bob Walling moving up there now. He knows what he's got to do. Albertini's spun into the centre. That's stalled. Well, now Jacobson doing it nicely out in front, but it's anyone's race from back there in third and fourth. Walling gets through in a 3rd place up there in the Canadian corner. He's clear now in 3rd place, and he's head down after Horton. He should be able to run him down from there. But Jacobson doing it nicely, and he looks like going for maximum points. 2 to go. Walling looking for the outside run and gets it on Horton. Horton's getting into the side of the round. Walling gets clear and gets up high. So it's Jacobson wears them around from Walling. Then we've got Horton. Gardner up there with just the 1 lap to go. But I think Walling can get out after him, and here's the 71 car. Horton over the corner. And he spins into the centre. We've got 3 wide as they go around the canning corner there. And we're looking for the finish. It's Jacobson in 76. He's first over the line. Then we've got Bob Walling. And we'll just have to check unless they finish. Oh, that was pretty fast and furious in there, but we'll get the officials for you. There's the last few cars across the line. Well, that was a good drive there from Jacobson. He got clear of the traffic. Also, Bob Walling, he got through. Well, of course, now we've only got 1 heat to go, and then it's the point score, and then we've got the 20 cars out for the final. So while we've got sorting the chief, we've got the stewards working overtime here tonight. This is when it gets desperate, of course, in the last heat, because they know that it's go for break. Last heat, we've had 2 nights of good heat racing, good numbers of cars. They haven't dropped off. We've lost a few, but considering the number of cars, I think about 8 or 10 has been pretty well the average. Well, into the top corner it goes. It's McCarthy from Bill Washington. And you've got the 9 car, and that's David Seville. From Tanya Peacock up there in the 1 looking for the run under Seville, but she's got to be content with 4th place as they go around. So it's Peter McCarthy in 6 from Watson. Then we've got Seville, Peacock, 12 car, Billy Ring. Behind him, Phil McCallum. Then we've got 26 the car of Davey Bruhart, and Cox bringing up the rear. Starting to spread them out now around the track. It's Peter McCarthy from Mildura from Watson. Then we've got Tanya Peacock from David Seville, Billy Rick, and Phil McCallum. And the other 2 cars being tailed off. So it's Peter McCarthy from Tanya Peacock getting a nose in front. 17 McCarthy wants to be happy with the way that car's going. Then we've got David Seville from Billy Rick and now on 11 Bill McAuliffe and Brewer Cox being tailed off. Tanya gets it a little bit untidy, but Peter McCarthy from Tanya Peacock. Then we've got Neil Watson from David Seville. Billy Rick up there in the 12 car and Bill McAuliffe and as I said, Davey Brewer Cox tailed off now. It's 9 McCarthy, 6 McCarthy from Tanya Peacock. Then we've got the Saturday car. We've got some a bit of a dust there for the line of Blazing. It's David Seville from Billy Rick and Bill McAuliffe in the 11th car. The front three are spread out a little bit, but it's Peter McCarthy leads them around from Tanya Peacock. Then we've got Neil Watson going pretty well there in the Hamilton Commodore. From David Seville, Billy Rick and Bill McAuliffe having a bit of a battle there for third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Oh, look at that, McCarthy goes wide, Tanya Peacock down on the pole line, gets away from him, McCarthy comes back it up. This Peacock from McCarthy, we're getting some thrilling finishes here. Let's watch Tanya Peacock, this New South Wales one, over the line she goes from Peter McCarthy in sixth. Then we've got Neil Watson in the 17 car. Oh, Seville just gets home from Rick and lucky Bill McAuliffe. Then we'll have Davey Brewer. And Cox is out, he pulls it off. He was heading for that fence. He had the concrete brewer block all lined up there and just pulled her off at the last minute. Well, that was a good heat. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the heats. It's the top 20-point scorers. And we've got a couple of results to give you. We'll take a few minutes now. And we've got a couple of results, so it's over to Garrett. For this one, we're first, number 76, Peter Jacobson, second, number 3, Bob Warren, and third, number 71. Martin Horson. The fastest lap time is 18.42 seconds, and the official race time is 2 minutes, 30.88 seconds. First was number 1, Tanya Peacock. Second was number 6, Bill McCarthy, and third was number 17, Neil Watson. The fastest lap time for that race was 18.49 seconds, and the official race time was 2 minutes, 29.36 seconds. Here's number 2. This is Tanya Peacock from Whitmore, New South Wales. From representing the Hamilton Club, 99, Peter Daly. From Whitmore, New South Wales, number 3, Mr. Bob Warling.
Johnny Robert.
From Ballarat, in car 5, Anthony Wilson. From Bendigo, the winner of the 50 lap of last time out here at West Speedway, in 56, Graham West. From the Bendigo Club, defending Victor 1, the current champion, 76, Peter Jacobson. From Mildura, car number 6, Peter McCarthy. From Marybridge is
running the rooftop, number 44, Warren Meisner. From Nyora, 65, in the molten concrete car, Russell Hines. Number 9, David Seville. Number 11, from Avalon, Phil McCaleb. From Vic Mildura, Martin Horton. From Geelong, David Cox. From Nyora, the other molten concrete car, number 10, David Newton. Representing the Hamilton Club from Horsham, number 17, Neil Robbie Watson. All the way from Alexander, car number 32, Anthony Christie. From Mildura, car number 16, Paul Sheen. From Avalon, number 31, Neil Sidey. And the number 20 is car 12, Billy Rick.
All the best. Thanks, mate.
Should anything happen in the first lap, car number 37, David Glynn, is first emergency, and car number 81, Andrew Miller. But that is before the first lap, otherwise the 20 cars.
Position with Max Carwin, the 1990-91 VSC. And Phil, they're racing already. They're going to be in all sorts of trouble if they go, but we've got the start. Max Carwin is on the lead. And Bob Walling, I think it is up there, but I'll have to pick them up as they come around. But they're on a tremendous pace. It's Max Carwin in the lead. With 34 laps to go, I can always count the first one. From Daniel Beacock, then Peter Dowling, from Anthony Wilson, Graham with Peter Jacobson, then we've got McCarthy from Scott. laps down off the 35 lap journey. Max Carlin doing his grand style, but he's got to Carlin gets away from Peacock. Moving up into third place, Dowling on the outside, but Dowling quick enough to get back into third place. Peacock getting sideways from Dowling. Wilson, Jacobson getting sideways also, and drops back a few places. So it's Carlin from Daniel Peacock. Now we've got Peter Dowling back in third place. With McCarthy up there on the 66 car from Wilson, then we're back to West and Scott Jacobson. Peacock is out. Peacock. So still Carl on the lead car. From 99 out of Peter Dowling. McCarthy up there in third place. Then we've got Anthony Wilson from Peter Jacobson. Scott's up there, Graham West. And it's up to Bob Walling now in seventh place. From Russell Hines. John McCallum from Warren Beasley. There's still Max Carlin, the lead car. From Peter Dowling there in 99. McCarthy up there in 66 with Anthony Wilson, Peter Jacobson, Cox. And we've got Bob Walling in the Bell Commodore. Dowling coming around again. He's the lead car. 14 laps down from Peter Dowling, Brad McArthur, still Wilson, Jacobson. Then we've got Bob Walling from Cox, Graham West, Hines. That's the car. Warren Meisler it'll be. And we've got a car over on the fence. Hopefully he can come down and not cause a race stoppage. He's down off the track. So it's back with Carl on the lead car. Max Carlin in the West Pacific Motor Traders car. Then we've got Peter Dowling in 99 from MacArthur there at 66 and Jacobson from Wilson. Back to Bob Worley, then Cox and Graham West. Warren Beaver, Phil McCallum and Billy Rick from Bill Watson. Paul Sheehan. Back to David Newton as they go round. It's still Carl on the lead car. Coming in now to left Paul Sheehan there in the 96 car.
because we've got a car without a wheel stand here. I think it's Anthony Wilson. Carlin out with a flat back tyre. That's certainly bad luck for the South Australian champ. Well, we're into the start of hand now. 22 laps down. We've lost Carl in the lead car. And now it's Dowling out from McCarthy. And Jacobson's there. And Bob Worley is in fourth place from Cox, and Graham West there in the 56 car. Back from Warren Visa. Over 111 is Bill McHale from the cars are lifting in that bottom corner. McCarthy. Bob Worley looking for the run up there. From Peter Jacobson. Jacobson trying to keep him out. Worley on the outside. Jacobson on the inside. Not much in it as they head down into the corner. Worley right up under McCarthy. Now he gets the break that he wanted. It's Peter Dowling from Peter McCarthy. There's not much in those front four cars. Peter Dowling, Peter McCarthy, Bob Worley, Peter Jacobson. So would you believe? Peter Dowling, Peter McCarthy. Then we've got Bob Worley from Peter Jacobson, back from Cox. Then we've got Graham West. Warren Visa up there in the 44 car. Back to Bill McHale, Billy Rick, Paul Sheen, and Neil Watson. 99 laps to go. It's still Peter Dowling from the Hamilton Club. Can he hold them out? Peter Jacobson pushing up there, walling up into the back of him. It's Peter Dowling in 99. 66 McCarthy. 76 the car of Peter Jacobson. There's nothing much in it from these four cars. We've got three Peters up there and Bob Worley. Bob Scott behind in fourth place. So we've got Peter Dowling, we've got Peter Jacobson up in second place. That's Peter McCarthy as we count them down with 5 to go. What a race, what a race. Peter Dowling from home, let's come together. Oh, Peter McCarthy certainly unlucky there. It's Peter Dowling, silver lane car from Peter Jacobson, from Bob Worley. Peter McCarthy back in fourth place. absolutely, absolutely fantastic.
Putting the race on. Everyone else for coming, it's a good race. We had a bit of trouble from day one. We went to Canberra last week and took the front out of it. Little teething problems all weekend. Changed the disc, went back to the disc we had. The rain got us last night. We sort of didn't think we'd get up as high as we were, but we're here, thank Christ. I'd like to thank congratulations to Curtis Herring and Rob Walling, tremendous driving there, Max Carlin and Tony Wilson. I'd like to thank you all. Everybody who's helped me out.
Thanks and congratulations to a truly ex-champion, a great driver. And from Lismore, the guy that's travelled the furthest, he took out second placing, Mr. Bob Walling. What a drive. Had a lot about this guy over the years, and I get the chance to meet him. It's been a great pleasure.
Oh, now they're letting them in.
I'd like to thank Speedway for putting on the trophy. I'd like to thank the other place, Peter, for his great drive. Both Peters actually. Peter Jacobs never gives in. I'd like to send another 5 laps home. To all my crew, Danny, Wayne, Jan, Sue, Gregory, Warren and Philip and Tanya and all the people, thank you very much. We ran second last year, I thought we might have got one this year, but it's a long way, but I suppose we might come back again. You're a most enjoyable people to come to. Victoria's been good to us. Anyhow, thank you very much.
Well, he did it 3 years ago on this track, driving to Toronto. Come out now, bought the car last weekend, got it ready. Didn't quite have time to finish the paintwork, but big welcome to Hamilton, Peter Daly.
Thanks very much, all.
Thanks very much, all.
I'd just like to thank you all for the race on. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best track in Victoria, and I'd also a few more horses. I'd just like to thank Liam Walton, Victory for the weekend. He's helped me out a lot. Southern Cross and Dust as well, and Bar Bodyworks, 2 sponsors of the car, or when it gets painted, that is. And Brian and that, just give me a hand for tonight, and come up with a couple of tries before, and especially me and Mrs. Bear for let me buy the car. We weren't supposed to buy another A-grade car, but these things happen. Thanks very much.
Five up on the dice.
What about a big hand for the guy that ran fourth? There can only be 3 place getters, but he kept them on. It's Peter McCarthy from Mildura. Give Peter a great big hand.
What's the time to go though?
Is that what we're going to do?
I reckon that would have been foul. I'm not saying anything about why Wall was second place. It wouldn't have been great if we had 3 questions. It would have been history if we had 3 questions up on the line. Those guys, the flash jackets, what about the old sales? I'll give you the bit too. On behalf of the VFC, a few words from its president, Alan Jones. Thanks, Norm. Just on behalf of the VFC, I'd like to congratulate Western Speedway on another event they've done very well. I'd like to thank